Hi everyone, today we're going to learn about making a collaborative artwork. When we collaborate with other artists, that means we work together to make one whole artwork. We're going to make our artwork with the subject of a sunflower today. So we will each have 1/4 or 1/4 of a sunflower. Your paper will already have a 1/4 of a circle on the corner. We're going to make the sunflower petals radiating or going out away from the center of that circle. It does not matter if your flower petals look exactly like mine. It would be a good idea to try to get something close to a flower petal shape, like maybe almost like a football shape or even an oval. So you can see that I'm starting kind of wide at the bottom and going up and away with sort of an angled or curved triangle shape. And I am then filling in all of the white space with yellow. I'm being very careful not to get the paint all the way up onto the metal part of my paintbrush. The paint only belongs on the hair of the paintbrush. As you can see here, I did not like the way that one of my flower petals was being overlapped by the other ones. I wanted them to all look like they were being overlapped in the same order. So I went ahead and went back in and painted over those to make the texture of my painting match what I was looking for. To clean off my brush, I wiped off the extra paint on my messy mat. If you have a water cup, you can also rinse your brush in the water cup, but please remember to dry your paintbrush before you put it back into the next color of paint. I went ahead and did my background second, and I decided to use little dashes, kind of to represent the artwork of Vincent van Gogh. We've talked about Vincent van Gogh and how he used lots of texture in his artwork. So I chose light blue, and you can even see that some of the yellow was still on my paintbrush and made some green, but that's okay because that would be similar to the way that Vincent van Gogh worked, and also I think it just looks really nice. I went ahead and after I used the blue, I cleaned off by drying the brush on my messy mat, and then I switched to green. Since there was already a little bit of green, I guess I went with purple. I thought I did green. I went with purple. If I would do green after purple, I could wind up with some brown, because green plus purple makes brown, but I just went with purple and blue for this background. I do wish I would have filled it in a little more than I did by the end of this, and maybe I'll go back in and work on that a little bit more. If your background looks different than mine, that is perfectly fine. Everybody's background should be the colors they want. We just need to try to fill up our paper the best that we can with as much of the color as we can. It's a good idea to not use yellow or brown because those are the colors that will be on our sunflower. Finally, since it's the darkest color, I used brown last, and I painted around the curve of my center circle, and then I'm going to fill in the space with just gentle swipes of brown. I did fill it in solid like the flower petals to create some contrast between the background and the flower. So I made sure that the flower was solid, painted in solid, and the background has a lot of texture to it. I really like that contrast so we can tell that it looks different from one another. The last step is to carve your name into the brown paint with a pencil and then wipe the pencil lead off. Your painting is now ready to go onto the drying rack. When our paintings have dried, we will use oil pastels to add more texture to our sunflowers. This part, I'd like for you to use your creativity and add patterns or designs using colors that are similar to the colors that are already on your sunflower. So as you can see here, I used a loopy line to add some texture, and then I even went outside the lines a little bit to put the texture onto the sunflower petals. I repeated that loopy line throughout the center of the sunflower. Something else that looks kind of nice in the center of a sunflower is vertical and horizontal lines, or even overlapping X's to make the texture of the center of the sunflower. I went in with black and put lots of tiny little ovals all over my center to make seeds for my sunflower as well. Next, I picked up a dark yellow. I started with a light yellow to try, but it did not show up well enough, so I picked up a dark yellow and I outlined the layers of my sunflower. But notice I outlined the right side of each petal first, because you might remember when I painted, I wanted to make sure that the overlapping looked symmetrical or looked even, like it was all overlapping in the same direction. So I overlapped the right side first and then part of the left side until it stopped and touched the other line. I really liked the way mine turned out. I went ahead and went back in and added a center shadow line to each flower petal as well. Of course, yours does not have to look exactly like this. The fun of art is that we all are different artists and we can all make our own choices and be unique in our creations. I went ahead and added a little shadow around the edge as well, and I really like the way this turned out. I think it's going to be super fun to see them all put together. Of course, when you're finished with the oil pastels, we always put them back in the correct area of the container so that they don't get mixed up and extra dirty. When they go with colors that match their color, they stay more clean. Thanks!